How's it going? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nick, and this is the series where I interview my streamer friends and get their opinions on Twitch culture and things like that. Technically, this is episode 2, although this is basically episode 1 because the first one was introductions, and these are not introductions. This episode, I was curious about what they want you guys to know before you start streaming. So I asked them, what did they wish they knew before they started streaming? And I added something else in there just to get more content. So I also asked them what was a massive hurdle that they had to overcome. The format of this is kind of be weird. I tried to group clips by opinions. So the first set of clips is about one topic, and the next set of clips is going to be about another topic. And so that was kind of the format I was going for. Before we hop into it, I just want to preface that I did all of these interviews separately, and so nobody really knows what any other person had to say. So there are going to be some contradicting opinions, but that's kind of what I'm going for in this series. One of the requirements, I guess, is that all of these people would have, I guess, very different opinions on the same topic, if that makes sense. And so I think sort of clash in beliefs is good and it's entertaining. But I think you can learn more from a clash of beliefs than just one side. So they don't know what each other said, so there's no hate among them as far as I know, and I hope there isn't after this. And I just want to say that if you don't agree with something, don't attack anybody for it, but feel free to leave why you don't agree in the comments. I'm really curious to hear about that. And I think that's it. Please enjoy this episode. It's the first one, and technically it's not the trial episode, but it's the trial episode. So catch you at the very end. At the very end, I'm gonna give some of my thoughts about what we heard, and yeah, that's that. Bye.
So something that I wish I would have known when I started streaming was just the community on Twitch and how welcoming and inviting they were. I always thought of Twitch as kind of a kind of more like a YouTube platform where there isn't a lot of like sociality, there isn't a lot of community necessarily. It's more like people following their fans, like fans following their like favorite content creators. And I didn't really realize how focused Twitch was on just interaction. Um, and if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense, I guess, because you know you have your live stream chat, you have those people that consistently come to your stream, that you kind of get to know on a personal level, and that's something you don't get anywhere else, in my opinion. So I really, really, really appreciate that, and I wish I would have found ways to appreciate it more when I was a younger content creator on Twitch.
I wish I knew that I have to be focused on the community the most. Even though I was focused on the community, I was also really focused on the gameplay usually. And as a game streamer, not a just chatting streamer for me, I wanted to show my level of skill. And sometimes I was like, neglecting people. And it's wrong, I personally believe, because you're not gonna stick to the same game till the rest of your life. So it's better to just build a nice, supportive community over pushing everything towards the gameplay of your stream, for example. My community is there for my personality, majority of the people. So right now I have like about, I don't know, 1,000 people watching me. And when I stream art, 500 people are watching me. Still, when I'm just literally drawing something or painting or whatever. So sometimes I kind of test how would it be, and I just switch the categories and check how people would react. And usually it's not such a big drop for me in comparison to, for example, high skilled players that are in Overwatch and they stream exactly the gameplay, but when they switch games, they lose 90% of their viewers. So I'm very, very lucky with my community per se. So
Okay, so there's a lot of things I wish I knew before streaming, but one thing for me personally that I wish I knew before streaming, I wish that I knew people were like trash and that people really like can't be trusted. Like people will just like use you or use other people, or like you can never like don't assume somebody's like a good person just because of how they show themselves on stream, because there's like a lot of people who will just like be nice to you, and then when they're done with you, or when they no longer have a use for you, they'll just throw you aside, block you, whatever, like that. That's something that I think I had to deal with, whether it be like with other streamers or with just friends and viewers or other friends I would meet in other people's streams. So I wish I really knew to just like the saying, just like guard your heart, to not get like too emotionally attached, not to think just because somebody says you're my best friend and you're my homie for life doesn't mean like they are, doesn't mean you're always going to be together, um, yeah, and just be aware if people want to like use you and things like that.
And also another thing is that be nice to everyone, but expect some nasty people out there. Even though if they're nice to you on the screen, they might be not very nice behind your back. Just saying.
And then I guess the same thing with the biggest hurdle was that like trying to become friends with everyone is just like not a good idea. Like you can be friendly, but keep your distance, keep your emotional distance, and um, yeah.
Okay, networking is so important on Twitch. I had no idea what networking was when I first started streaming. I had no friends on Twitch whatsoever. And I didn't start networking until a couple months ago, really. And that's when my channel really started to pick up. And I think that's really important to know before you start streaming. So definitely don't self-promote in other people's channels. That is not nice. That's not okay. I would go about it just trying to make friends and being genuine to everybody. And viewer games is a really good way to do that too. That helps grow your community a lot. Yeah, participating in viewer games is great. Also doing duo fills and squad fills. I did that a lot when I first started streaming and it helped me so much. I met so many people from that. Yeah, playing with randoms. Sometimes it can go bad. I mean, randoms, they're gonna be randoms, but just, try your best. Leave the game if they're really that bad. I mean, heck. But I've actually met a lot of friends from random fills, so.
Something that I really wish that I knew before I started streaming that I kind of figured out almost like 2 or 3 years later, like after getting into it, is just like a lot of people place such a massive emphasis on like networking and like making sure like getting close to creators so that you can like share an audience and stuff like that. And it's just like it's all about content, dude. It's about what you are doing. If you're putting out quality stuff that people want to see, then you'll get a lot more viewers than if you're just trying to like become close to somebody so you can like share their community or something. It's just like it becomes a really toxic mentality, I guess, where you like sometimes you're like, oh, these people close to me so they can like steal my viewers, or like are these people just like are they actually friends with me and stuff like that. It's just if you do your own thing and you make good content and you make friends along the way, that's awesome. But it's all about content. It's literally all is.
I wish I knew what balance in life was. I believe that many streamers, they struggle to balance everyday life, especially me. I have no schedule. And so that's been really hard. Also, I struggle with mental health issues like many others, so I need to keep my self-care in check. And it's been really difficult, I think, balancing that out with streaming and being so chaotic with my schedule all the time. So I think that's been a big hurdle for me for sure since the beginning of streaming.
Something that I wish I knew when I first started was not to look at my view counts. In the beginning, I felt really bad about myself because I would constantly like check my viewers and compare myself to other people and be like, why isn't anyone coming in? Like, and then when someone would come in, I'd kind of like freak out and be like, oh my God, someone's watching me. Oh my God. And then it would like take me away from what I was doing. And then I'd like put on this other persona. And then I learned like, that's just not the way that, I'm supposed to do that. And so I turned off my view count, and that really helped me kind of like be my own person while I'm streaming and not necessarily like think about how many people are watching and like what they're looking at and all that kind of stuff.
And then I think the biggest hurdle that has been just in content creation in general, you doubt yourself a lot. You have a hard time finding value in what you create unless it's given to you by your community unless they compliment you what you do, unless they donate to your stream, unless they subscribe to you, follow you, all the analytics, all the numbers. The biggest hurdle has been almost ignoring those at a safe distance, but still keeping them close. It's like your worst enemy and your best friend, analytics. Making sure that you are validated in what you create purely by what it is. And, you may not get 100 viewers right off the bat, but you're creating something that you enjoy and that you like. So that is kind of what's most important, because you're not going to have any desire or passion to continue doing it if you don't find value in what you enjoy and what you create.
And yeah, comparing myself to streamers is probably the biggest hurdle that I've had to overcome. Constantly thinking that you're not growing enough, or you're growing like, too little or whatever, is really hard, because you're like, well, I just kind of want to give up. I don't want to stream anymore. And that's just not the way to do it. Like, everybody grows at their own rates. And you never know, like, what's going to happen. You could blow up tomorrow. You could blow up in a month, or 2 years from now. You just really don't know. So stopping comparing myself is definitely the hardest battle I've had to overcome. But I also taught myself that you can't be oblivious to signs of why you're not growing, though. Like, if you see that you're completely stagnant over a certain amount of period, like there's no growth or anything, like absolutely none for like a certain amount of time, then you should pay attention to that and like watch your VODs, like look at your content and figure out like what it is that, could be stopping you from growing.
I guess like a massive hurdle that I've had to overcome is just like not really second guessing myself when I want to do things. Like I always have like good ideas where I'm like, okay, well I want to do a podcast, or like, okay, I want to do PowerPoint presentations on stream. And like every time I do that, like you'll do it once and you'll be like, this is rough. Like nobody's here, nobody's talking. But it's just like you just got to do your own thing, dude. Sometimes you just know that you're right. You know that you're onto something and you know that you want to do it. And that's when you're gonna get like the most amount of I guess good feedback from these things, right? If you come up with a creative idea that you haven't seen before and it feels weird, just do it. It doesn't matter if you only have like 2 viewers. It doesn't matter if you have like 10 viewers or you're getting less than your average. Just do it if that's what you want to do. And that's something that I've definitely learned, and it's been difficult to overcome, but I think that I've gotten a lot better at it.
Yeah, it's really tough, man. Like you feel like you are working so hard sometimes for nothing, because your analytics are just and you have almost zero control sometimes over those analytics, and your self-worth is something that affects not just your streaming, it affects your whole life. If you feel like creatively you're in a slump and nobody's appreciating your content, chances are that things outside of streaming aren't going that great either, and your mental health suffers because of that. So you got to find value in whatever you do, and if you don't feel like you're doing your best, you feel like you're half-assing it, like find a way to not half-ass it, because you don't want your confidence and your mental state to decline because of Twitch and because of content creation. So
And a massive issue that I have to overcome as a streamer, I never really had any big issues. I'm not a big fan of drama, so if community has any, that's something difficult to overcome usually. But apart from that, I never had like really big issues, because basically I was streaming for like 2-3 months as an affiliate, and then I straight up jumped to full-time streamer. I never was pursuing to be a partner, but I was doing it full-time for fun, because I was having a luxury to do so. My community was really supporting me a lot, so it just came naturally, everything. So right now I'm streaming for 2 years. I have 40,000 followers, and I'm basically streaming one game all the time. So all my community is built around that viewers of that game, and I don't really think I never had any like huge issues to deal with. I just really like building a nice, supportive community, and that's the most important part for me.
If you had to give one tip of advice to a new streamer that you think they wouldn't expect and most streamers wouldn't expect to give them? Like a piece of advice that you think most people wouldn't give them. What do you think it would be?
Don't stream. not like in like a oh like don't do it, you'll never succeed or anything sort of way, but like the most growth that you will get out of your channel is from things like Twitter and YouTube. It's just like that, at least personally, that's been my experience. And like I streamed for 3 years, like I said, and I experienced a very small amount of growth over those 3 years. The most growth that I've experienced was from Twitch Sings, which is a karaoke app, which is a different form of content that was actually uploaded and like preserved in like some sort of way. But beyond that was YouTube, and YouTube's been growing my channel a lot. And it's just like the more time that I spend streaming is the less time that I spend creating YouTube videos, and YouTube is inevitably what grows my channel. And it's really funny too, because you're gonna reach a point when you are creating like content like that where your stream actually does start to grow. And you just need to like also keep in mind that it's like my stream is growing for this. Like I want to stream more, but I know that it's still more beneficial for me to put time into YouTube. So it's just like if you're looking to grow, that's my recommendation. Put more time into videos and stuff like that. If you're just looking to like experience streaming and you're like okay, chilling at like a smaller view count, that's like cool. That's okay for a lot of people, right? I just know there's a lot of streamers out there though who like they really want to like grow, and they'll say like, oh well, I don't really care like about the numbers or anything, but then they like really get down on themselves for like the view numbers. And it's like those same people don't want to put in the work to create those YouTube videos, which is like fine, I understand that, but it's like they also like complain about the same thing. So like that's my advice for somebody who's like actually looking to grow. But if you're like happy with whatever numbers you have, like that's awesome. Like that's how it should be. It should be a hobby, you know.
If you're a beginner streamer and you want to start being more or less serious about it, first of all, never try to pursue a certain goal in the beginning. Do it for fun. It's really important to just enjoy yourselves, and then people will get much more attracted to your content, because if people see that you do it for money or for any other reasons that are not fun, they're gonna feel it. People really feel these things. So just enjoy yourself, share positive vibes, and do it your own way, of course, and try to keep it more or less as a stable schedule. It's really important. People are relying on habit when it comes to Twitch. Good luck.
Hey, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that video. I think it was pretty good. You know, if I don't say, I'm just saying. If I don't say so myself, I think it was okay. But for the most part, I pretty much agree with what everybody said. There are two things that I do want to touch on. One, I do not think that networking is as important as people think. Like King was saying, at the end of the day, it's really about the content you put out. And sure, networking might increase the discoverability of that content, but I think you need to have your sole focus in making sure that what you put out is good and people like it. That's what I think is the most important at the end of the day, because more people, sure, they show up to your stream or your YouTube or your Twitter or whatever, but if they don't like what they see, they're not gonna stick around. I don't think it's bad, and I'm sure there are people who have had a lot of success off of networking, and there's always a general rule to everything, and I think the general rule is just focus on your content, put out good content. Of course, making friends is great, and if you're gonna network, it should be to make friends. But people do network with the intent of growing their channel, and it works for some people. But like general rule, content. Focus on your content. Second thing I want to touch on is I don't think I agree with the do it for fun mindset, or do it for fun at first mindset that Mushu was talking about. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to grow your channel and make it a full-time job. And setting goals is realistically just how you do it, especially at the beginning. And just literally at any point. But like, don't take this the wrong way. Don't quit your job and stream full-time for 3 viewers. Don't do that. Or don't announce to the world that you're just doing it for money, because then you just sound cocky and nobody likes you. So don't do that. That's also bad. That's not what I mean. But maybe this is what she means. Maybe not. It's kind of hard to tell, but the kind of vibe was like, just do it for fun. And then if you're lucky, then you can keep going and then decide if it's going to be a full-time career or not, and you really want to start putting in the work. No, I think you can be putting in the work at the very beginning with goals, and I think you can do it. Like, I think literally anybody can do it. Twitch, I don't think Twitch is a luck game, or YouTube. Literally anybody can do it. There's just so many people streaming and so many people making YouTube videos that if you don't have the drive at the beginning to make good content, then you don't stand out And so standing out is what you really need. And so on a little tangent. Okay, anyway. You know, maybe I'm wrong. I'm very open to the fact that I could be wrong. That's something I like to, you know, always be open to the fact that I'm possibly wrong. Maybe. Because, you know, Mushu is the streamer with 1K viewers, or who averages 1K viewers. And, you know, maybe that worked for her, but I'm not too sure that it's the general rule. I could be wrong, though, like I said. It's okay to be ambitious, in my opinion. Just be careful about how you do it and how ambitious you are. And just make sure you be realistic with your ambition. And, like, be smart about it. And, for the most part, be willing to put in the work. Because anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. All right, that's it for the video. Every link for every streamer, their Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, that'll all be in the description down below if you want to check them out. All right, catch you later. Episode 3 dropping next week sometime then. All right, bye. How am I gonna pull my pants up? Somebody better have clipped that.